Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe rerun review. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Season 1, Episode 16, Steven the Sword Fighter. I'm gonna be honest, for these first 15 or so episodes, I've been pretty negative, and it's kinda deserved. There are some good episodes in there, but nothing that good. This is the first episode, though, where I was like, I really enjoyed it. All my cynicism, well, most of my cynicism, just kind of faded away. And I actually had a good time watching it. I think this is a really good, really well done episode. And we're finally starting to see some of those changes that I've really wanted, that eventually make the show into the better show it becomes. The first of those. So we start off, they're all the Jims and Steven are kind of sitting around watching a movie. Pearl doesn't like the movie because it's not realistic, it doesn't have sword fighting. And right off the bat, I'm totally on board with this because, well, I like Pearl's line about, oh, it's not realistic at all, but the Jims are actually playing along with Steven. Whether or not they actually care about the movie doesn't matter. He's a kid. They're playing along with him, letting him have his fun. Just like I was complaining back in, Too Many Birthdays, it's doing the same thing, and I'm glad, right? But they go out to what eventually would become the Sky Arena. It's very barren right now, and Pearl's showing off how great of a sword fighter she is, because yeah, why not? She uses a spear, she can totally use a sword. There's this whole Hollow Pearl thing, which Pearl has a lot of powers now that I think about it. I mean, we learn later on that she's more or less like a servant, like a butler or a maid or something. But she has a lot of powers. It brings up some interesting implications. But Steven's all interested in sword fighting. He wants to learn. So Pearl's like showing him the training mode. And he's like, oh, I don't want to see that. I want to see something cool. Like the Boomerang Blade, which comes from the Lonely Blade movies. And you know, I get it. He's still a kid, but it makes a lot of sense, right? He's just interested in the cool aspects. He doesn't want to know the trade, he just wants to be able to do the cool stuff. It fits a lot of different mediums, like art and music, right? Learning how to do those stuff takes time. So I completely get it, and I think it works. But he distracts Pearl, and she gets stabbed by the Hollow Pearl. Which I love how they do this scene, because we see the Hollow Pearl walk up behind her, her facial expression changes, we cut to a shadow of her with being stabbed. We see Steven's reaction, we see the Jim's reaction, and then we actually see her actually stabbed. That's great. I love how they do this sequence. It's showing that they're fixing one of the few problems I've had early on, the animation. Now, the show never actually changes its style of animation, it just becomes more refined. I know some people say that's not entirely true because as we get into later seasons, they start drawing characters off model, which, think of it however you will. I get the complaint, but I also think the newer models look better than the older ones, so yeah. And then we learn that when gyms are damaged, they basically just get poofed and they retreat into their gyms to heal. Which, I'm pretty sure this is the first time they're explaining it. And it is an interesting idea that their bodies are just made of light and that to kill a gym, all you have to do is hurt the actual gym. That the rest of the body really doesn't matter. It's more of an extended Achilles, really showing what the gym's weakness, right? It really points it out. So we cut to 2 weeks later, and Steven's bored, he's waiting for Pearl, he misses Pearl. This episode really cements Pearl as the most motherly figure between them. I mean, I've argued before that Amethyst isn't really a mother, she's more like an older sister. And while Garnet can pull it off, at the end of the day, their apartment's falling apart, and Pearl really is there, and he really does miss her. I get it. It works. The metaphor really works. And because this entire time, Amethyst has been riding around in this cloud, and Garnet's been goofing around with her, and Amethyst eats the cloud. But Steven's lonely, so he decides to hang out with Hollow Pearl. and it's not going well. Hollow Pearls, she's not Pearl, right? And it's the entire metaphor that, oh, you can't replace someone, right? And it works. It really does. Because Hollow Pearl's just no fun, and Steven just gets sick of her. And they don't exactly go into horror, but like, they point out how just creepy Hollow Pearl is, and I feel like the execution is really well done. But this eventually leads to Steven fighting Hollow Pearl, and he does beat her with the boomerang blade, and then Pearl comes back. And everything's good in the world. The house is still a mess, and Pearl can't leave them alone for a second. Overall, it's a really solid episode. It's got the comedy, it's got the serious moments, it's got the heart. This is on the track to being what eventually made me love the show. This is a great start, honestly, after putting up with so much crap. Again, it wasn't all bad. It's good to see something that I feel like resembles the final product. Will resemble what becomes the core of this show. And this is where we're really starting to see it. I don't really feel like everything fully kicks into place until episodes 25 and 26. Or is it 24 and 25? Whatever. But we're getting there. We're starting to see elements of it now that will eventually build up to what it becomes later on. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.